Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, yes, yes. The hype train is building for the Xbox Showcase coming up at the weekend and the Starfield reveal and all of that. Activision could pull their games out of the UK. Is that really a thing? And, of course, we'll have all the latest Xbox games and news, including, of course, Diablo and all of that. Time to roll the titles. Yes, yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Xbox Monday Night Chat. As I said, we've got a packed show today. We're coming in, I mentioned it last week, but we're coming into that kind of exciting time of year when the game announcements are coming thick and fast, because it's not only the Xbox Showcase, not only the Starfield big reveal afterwards, but I think a few days later you've got Ubisoft Forward, who'll be revealing all the games they've got coming in the next kind of few months as well. So lots of stuff happening there, very exciting. Plus rumors abound there that maybe, and I'm not sure how this would work or whether it would actually work, but could Activision Blizzard basically cut out the UK when it comes to games in order to get the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal done? That's what's being kind of rumoured or talked about. How that would actually work, I don't know. But what would it mean for the UK? No more Call of Duty? Or is that kind of overhyping it and creating sort of clickbait headlines and all of that? But it's definitely something that's being discussed. So we'll be talking about that. And, of course, this week, it seems that the CEO of Sony, not the head of PlayStation, but the CEO of Sony, may have undermined the CMA's, the UK CMA's case against Microsoft Activision Blizzard by recent statements he made about the actual size of the cloud gaming business market actually just being not very big, according to Sony. And yet, this seems to be the size of the cloud gaming market seems to be the peg upon which UK CMA is hanging its case. When Xbox, Microsoft's rival, actually comes out and says, you know what, it's not much, that cloud gaming business isn't really much, not big size, not a big market share actually. That's potentially helping out Microsoft's case. So we'll be talking about that as well. As ever, do me the massive favor. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Hit those likes because I like it. YouTube likes it. And it helps people. Well, it's meant to help people like you find content like this. I'm not sure it's doing it. But never mind. We'll keep striving on, won't we? And if you are new here, hey, hit that subscribe button down below. Toggle that notification bell. And that way you'll know when I go live with the content just like this. Have you watched the big Apple announcement and the Apple eyeglass? Yeah, Apple Glass. Did you see that? Let me know what your thoughts are down. Not that it's Microsoft related, really. Although imagine playing, Xbox. It'd be quite interesting a gaming experience. It's a shame it's Apple, because that kind of makes it quite a closed shop. Boo Apple and all the sheeple who follow Apple. That's my view, yeah? Open up your hearts, Apple. Yeah, come on, open it up. Open up the platform. Let's get some gaming on there, like not just Apple gaming, some serious gaming on there, ladies and gentlemen. Done a partnership with Disney. Why not a partnership with Xbox? Now, that'd be a thing, wouldn't it? Imagine playing xCloud on your Apple goggles. Yeah. Just don't walk around the street with them because you look like a donkey. But anyway, as ever, let me know what games you've been playing. Have you unwrapped Diablo? As somebody once said to me, Diabolo or Diabolo. You say Diabolo, I say Diabolo. You say tomato, I say tomato, and all of that. Let me know what you think it is down in the comments, of course. I'd be interested in that. There's some guy has already maxed out his levels. Yeah, it was sort of recently announced. I should have saved the tweet. Not that it bothers me that much, but yeah, some bloke has already maxed out, got maximum level on Diablo. So interesting. Let's see who the early birds are as I take a swig. Sednar. Hello, Sednar. In the house. Good to see you. ER Gaming there. Good to see you. Calm's there. Choo choo indeed. Here comes the hype train. Now, I always, like to sprinkle a bit of reality and calmness on it. But do you know what? I think it's actually Xbox who are sort of playing it cool, but with a glint in their eye, which is, and sort of revealing a few clues here and there, sort of playing that game that there's, I think, I don't know if I think or I hope that they think they've got something pretty special coming up on Sunday. Let's fingers crossed on all of that. Anyway, Liam, good to see you. Neil J, hello there. Gandara, how you pronounce diabolic? Or diabolic? Yeah, diabolic. Yeah, I suppose tells you how to pronounce Diabolo. I like it. Diabolic. Diabolo, diabolic. Yeah, that makes sense. It's been a Minecraft week for me. I have something, I did a video on the AI channel about Minecraft. I think I mentioned it on Thursday. If you've not checked out my video, it explains it all on there. And we'll touch on that a little bit today. Do you think, Gusky says, do you think that Xbox will reveal their competitive handheld streaming device? No, I don't. Lol, he goes. No. I think they're well and truly, the only hardware device I think they'll be producing is the next console. It's funny. My son was saying, aren't we due another console in the next couple of years, Dad? And I was thinking, actually, yeah, we're probably coming up to that cycle, aren't we? Whew, don't wish our lives away. Anyway, Diabolo. Yeah, I like Neil. Diabolo. Diabolical. Yeah, diabolical. Yeah, I like the Spanish way, although Gandara's got a point. We say diabolical. We don't say it's diabolical. Neil did watch my AI video and it was great. Thank you, Neil. See, Neil says it was great. Thank you for that. It's really interesting what they're doing. Absolutely fascinating. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out some news. Oh, yeah, games I've been playing. So I have played, he says, Gollum, and I've been playing System Shock, which I was playing on Thursday. I live streamed both the games on Thursday, one during the GeForce Now show and obviously one prior to the show. So, and I plan probably to do something similar this week. So make sure you stay tuned for that because it's a rare occurrence. I actually stream games on this channel, but it may be something that I'd be doing more often. I've sort of changed my kind of stuck in my way that I go, no, I don't use this channel for game streaming. Lord Kensal does that. But I'm thinking, no, come on, shake things up a bit. I talk about gaming on this channel. Why shouldn't I stream once a week on this channel? I'm thinking, that's the way I'm thinking anyway. So let's do it, Right. First of all, let's whiz by, check out the games this week. Of course, the big one everyone's talking about. Diabolo. Of course. I've not looked at it yet, but there we go. But Amnesia, The Bunker, is on Xbox Game Pass right now. First-person horror game set in a desolate World War I bunker. Face the oppressing terrors stalking the dark corridors. Search and use the tools. On the clips that I saw, and certainly on the trailer that I saw when I was putting together the GeForce Now reel last week, it looked very dark. Yeah. Very dark. Interesting. Diablo. Optimized for Xbox Series X and S. Out tomorrow. I thought somebody had already maxed out. Maybe they got preview. Or is it? I've seen some people, maybe people got some previews on it. Terminal Velocity Boosted Edition. Garden City. Listeria Wars. MotoGP 23 is coming out this week. Nocturnal. And Senses Midnight. Nice Japanese game. The Midnight Door of Ikebukuro Walking Park. 2D and Top D. Airy the Lost Hero. Cat Souls. Cat Souls? What? Players Ruby. There's a lot of cat games, aren't there? Players Ruby, an energetic cat with a strange ability. There's Cat Cafe. There's Stray. What was the other one with the cat with a gun? It was really cool. And a skateboard. Dead Ground. Grey Hill Incident. Kingdom of Orella. A Painter's Tale. So there are your sort of your Xbox games this week between now and the 9th of June. And obviously Diablo is the big one that everyone's talking about. The next-gen action RPG experience with endless evil to slaughter, countless abilities to master, nightmarish dungeons, and legendary loot. Yeah, so there's your main games. Obviously, which of those? I mean, you know, it's the calm before the storm. I like to say it all the time. You're not going to get massive games all the time. I mean, Diablo is a massive game. Diablo 4? Diablo? But we know what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. We've got big things are coming. So before we get into the hype train for the Xbox showcase, look, Ubisoft is also coming next week. Let's check this out with their reveal lineup. So we're going to be having X Defiant. I think we'll get a date, an actual date for the release of X Defiant. So June the 12th. When's that? Week on Tuesday. Lineup reveal. Just the one then, yeah? Or they're gonna tease us each day. But it looks like they're all in on Xbox Defiant. I like Xbox Defiant. Playing the beta both times round when they gave open access to the beta. It was good. And my son played it as well, and he's the FPS sort of main man in the house when it comes to FPS, and he was suitably impressed. So that's good enough for me. My son thinks it's good. Being a Call of Duty CSGO player, especially a CSGO player, it's good enough for me. So there we go. So as I say, not just the Xbox showcase, ladies and gentlemen, coming up, but Ubisoft next week. So we'll have the showcase, and then 2 days later, we're going to have Ubisoft Forward. Okay, so The Sun read a big, The Sun's like clickbait, isn't it? When it comes to sort of headlines, and it sort of stretches plausibility or gullibility into both actually, yeah, in terms of the how it's got to explain. The point is, explain it to me like I'm a 10th grader. The Sun, obviously the IQ level of the Sun reader is perhaps not necessarily as high as everybody else, and therefore to explain the legal ramifications of the Activision Blizzard deal to their audience, they have to sort of talk in sort of simple terms and headline terms. So Call of Duty could be banned in the UK. Talks with government underway. They're taking two events or, one sort of rumor and an event. So the head of Microsoft, Brad Smith, is coming to see the Prime Minister of the UK this week. Yeah, talk about Xbox and stuff. Now, the government can't put any direct pressure on the CMA. I mean, it's politics, but they can't actually put direct pressure on the CMA. The CMA remains independent. So they're kind of not, they're putting two events together here and kind of, putting two and two together and making five, but that's the nature of the sun. But the story here is that it says here, Microsoft has scheduled a meeting with Jeremy Hunt to talk about the future of Call of Duty in the UK. They have not called a meeting specifically to talk about the future of Call of Duty, but there we are. That sort of sums it up, really, makes it simple. The UK is the only country so far that's attempted to block the purchase of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft, correct? And they do own, this is the logic. Yes, correct. The UK is the only one that has blocked the deal, correct. 2, yes, Activision do own Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Overwatch, and Diablo. If Microsoft decides to go ahead with the acquisition, despite the UK's opposition, then Activision games could be banned in the country. I don't think they'd be banned in the country. This would mean that people in the UK would be unable to purchase or download any games from Activision series. This outcome is obviously undesirable for all parties involved, considering that the UK is the second largest Xbox market outside the US. According to Bloomberg, Microsoft President Brad Smith has arranged a meeting with Chancellor Jeremy Hunt this week. A statement from representative for Microsoft says that Smith has scheduled talks about the potential of AI. That sounds more interesting. And the need for thoughtful regulation to it. It'll also hold private discussions on other issues, including, obviously, the proposed Activision Blizzard deal. Microsoft is preparing a strategy to counter the Competition Markets Authority's decision, as Microsoft intends to complete the purchase. So there have been rumours that the deal, that Activision Blizzard, or that Microsoft will look for ways around it and sort of cut out the UK. But equally, the UK CMA have put in things to prevent Activision Blizzard and Microsoft from sort of restructuring themselves to sort of circumnavigate their decision. Although, couldn't they just set up Activision? I was thinking about it. How would it work? Couldn't they just set up Activision UK and then do a deal with Microsoft UK and license the games? Basically on the same terms that they do, that the company would do, basically on the same basis that if Microsoft and Activision Blizzard join up around the rest of the world and make all the games available on xCloud and Xbox, and all the games available on, for GeForce Now and Boostroid and all that, could they not just set up Activision UK and then basically do the same deal, but say, well, we're not part of Microsoft, we're a smaller company, but we're just going to do the same, give the same deals to GeForce Now, or we're going to do a deal with Microsoft and let them have the games, exclusively on xCloud. Not very satisfactory, but potentially they could just do that. They could act globally and then just have a license agreement. I mean, the amount of companies that do licensing to get around the paying tax in the UK or Europe, they basically, Apple and Amazon, whatever, they're based in California, but they don't the way they sort of structure the tax in these countries is they basically license the IP or permission to sell it in this country. And so they don't pay for any sales. They're just paying like a license to operate or something kind of stupid sort of tax dodge like that. But I mean, they could, they could come up with some structure like that, couldn't they? I don't know. But anyway, interesting stuff. In terms of the timetable, he says, Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal heads to a summer showdown with regulators. Microsoft's UK appeal started today, and the main hearing is on July the 24th. So that's the main thing. So Microsoft argues that CMA analysis makes fundamental errors, and it seeks to rely on 4 expert witnesses to push for a judicial review. So basically saying a judicial review is basically saying the judgment has been made in error. Not that they made, that the decision was wrong per se, but the process, the judicial process that the CMA undertook was incorrect. That is the nature of a judicial review, when you are looking at the process, whether the process was done correctly. And what they're saying is it was not done correctly because there were fundamental errors made along the way. Microsoft claims the CMA has failed to consider potential for switching between cloud gaming and native gaming, and says it has not correctly defined the cloud gaming market. So what they're saying is, in terms of the UK CMA, consider the cloud gaming market to be really big. Now, they could just be using the amount of Xbox Game Pass users and then just extrapolating that and just saying, and they all play on xCloud. But of course, we know that just because you have Xbox Game Pass, and therefore you have access to play Xbox Game Pass games via the cloud, doesn't mean that you do. And if you just base your assumption on the size of the cloud gaming business on the amount of Xbox Game Pass subscribers, then you're making a fundamental and flawed mistake, because that is not representative of the number of people who play Xbox via the cloud. That is basically what Microsoft is saying, that the CMA has gone and done, and therein lies an error, and therefore their judgment is, their thought process is incorrect, and therefore the judgment ultimately is incorrect. CMA says Microsoft has a strong position in cloud gaming services, and evidence available to the CMA showed that Microsoft would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service. So it just rests on the interpretation of how big the cloud gaming market is. Well, they've got the support of GeForce Now, Kel surprise. They've got the support of Boosteroid saying, no, it's fine, Kel surprise. Well, it could be now, oddly enough, indirectly, they have the support of Sony. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Sony CEO. Where is he? Here he is in the Financial Times. Regular reader, I hope you are. Sony chief warns technical problems persist for cloud gaming. The promise of technology remains unfulfilled after more than a decade of development. This is not our good friend, head of PlayStation. No, this is his boss. Yeah. Sony chief Kenichiro Yoshida. Can I get ready? You might want to block your ears now, because I'm going to name drop. But I met Kenichiro Yoshida. I bowed to him. Yeah, in Tokyo, in Sony. Hey. Yeah. In a meeting. He entered the meeting. I was in a meeting with Sony and PlayStation executives in Tokyo, and he was curious about the meeting because I was working for a big brand at the time. And so he came to the meeting and all the underlings stood up and bowed as Yoshida-san came and entered the room. Anyway, beside the point. Sony's chief executive has warned that the cloud gaming is still technically very tricky, playing down the risk to the console maker of the industry quickly converting to a technology on which its rival Microsoft has heavily bet. So basically what he's saying is the cloud gaming business isn't that big. Feeding into the narrative that Microsoft have been saying that the UK CMA assumption about the size and potential of the cloud gaming market right now is fundamentally flawed. And now their biggest rival, who didn't want the deal to go through, or the boss of their biggest rival, who didn't want the deal to go through, is saying, no, the cloud, the risk to the console maker, the industry quickly converting to a technology in which its rival Microsoft has bet heavily isn't that big. It's not that big a market. Thank you, Sony. Despite various attempts to remake the gaming industry around the cloud, many users have yet to switch from console or high-end gaming PC to streaming games entirely over the internet, fearing that lags can be caused by slow internet connectivity and server speeds. They're wrong, though. But they don't know that. This is people's assumption. Fair enough, people assume that. Publishers have also not been fully supportive. In January, Google shut down too soon. Google shut down its Stadia streaming service after most game producers held back from making their top titles available on the platform. The promise of cloud gaming is still unfulfilled after more than a decade of development. Of course, Sony was one of the first big companies to enter with Gaikai, and later technologies of its rivals on live. While it launched a cloud gaming subscription service in 2014 that is now integrated with its upgraded and expanded service PS Plus Premium, analysts say Sony has not capitalized on its early bet to establish itself as a leader in the field. Yoshida also pointed to the costly inefficiencies of cloud gaming, where servers are idle for much of the day before having to cope with high levels of traffic of gamers during the evening dark time, which is quite interesting, actually. You think about it. And I think the NVIDIA compute thing, they talked about the downtime of servers. You've got to have the capacity in your servers to supply the demand and meet the demand when it's at the highest. But that equally means they're not really fulfilled that much when demand is at its lowest, if that makes sense. Obviously, that's obvious. And I think Google sort of managed it through clever AI and machine learning and stuff like that. And I'm sure other people did, and sort of utilize the networks and the nodes around the world to kind of, with AI, to sort of maximize that. And I think NVIDIA have done, when they announced their super chip, specifically aimed at the AI industry, the first of which have been bought by, quelle surprise, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. I think they talked about how you manage that capacity. The dark time for cloud gaming has been an issue for Microsoft as well as Google, but it was meaningful that we were able to use those quieter hours for AI learning, said Yoshida, speaking at the company's headquarters. Basically, they used the downtime to get AI to play some of their games, to sort of learn, work out some of the bugs and stuff like that, I believe. Industry and regulatory concerns focused on whether Microsoft would make Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service, a move that would potentially accelerate the shift away from consoles. What Sony's saying is, not yet. Yeah, we're still a long way from that. So basically, Sony is delivering. You know, if I was the lawyers representing Microsoft at the judicial review, the tribunal, I'm using Yoshida-san's testimony. My biggest rival, or the boss of my biggest rival, the parent company of my biggest rival, I'm using their testimony. According to Microsoft, its Xbox Cloud Gaming has more than 20 million users. Yeah, no, so that's Microsoft, in a way, shooting themselves in the foot, because on one hand, they're going to hype the numbers back in the day to sort of justify why it's working, but the reality is probably less, because 20 million is a lot. The regulatory response has been mixed. The EU regulator is clearing the purchase on the basis that Microsoft had made concessions to alleviate its concerns, i.e. not making the games exclusive. If the deal went through, it would make Microsoft the third biggest gaming company by revenue behind China's Tencent. And, of course, who'd have thunk it? His company, Yoshida-san's Sony. So interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I think you'll agree. That is, from Sony. Just check. Oh, there's been a lot of fallout about Redfall, and the developers almost wishing the game would get cancelled, assuming the game would get cancelled when Microsoft sort of came in and took over. Instead, Microsoft only cancelled the PlayStation version of Redfall and then took a largely hands-off approach. It seems the developers didn't want to make the game. Now, obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing. And you often get these sort of things. What if it had turned out to be an amazing game? They still might not wanted to make it. These things happen. But obviously, people are looking for reasons why the game's not performed as well as perhaps it could have, should have, all of that. Well, according to this article by Jason Schreier, he's done this massive article on the inside of making of Redfall, and it basically, I say, paraphrase, the developers didn't want to make it. Their heart wasn't in it, or collective hearts weren't in it. It wasn't the type of game. They didn't know what kind of game. They felt that the senior management didn't give clear guidance to what game they were actually making. Hence the references to, Far Cry, a Far Cry type game, and that was even in the marketing. They said, it's not, it's not like this game. It's more like a Far Cry game. So sort of did it fall between two stools, They compared it to Far Cry on one hand, and why has my brain gone blank? Begins with B. Jesus, what is my brain? Sometimes I'm doing this. My brain just goes completely blank. What is that game? We're on the third version. It's got a comic book style, like a 3D comic book style. God, it's going to bug me now. I know it. It's just I've got a blindness to the game. It'll come to me anyway. But the point is, it fell between two stools is part of the argument, and they were hoping it would get killed early doors, but then it never did. And Jason Schreier goes on, Borderlands. Yeah. The management seemed to sort of, on one hand, want to make a Borderlands type game, and on the other hand, make a Far Cry type game. Which is it? And that's why it fell between the two stools, according to this article by Jason Schreier with the beautiful power of hindsight. There we go. I mean, the game's all right. It's not terrible. I mean, you know, give it a bit like Gollum. It's not terrible. It's all right. People are so harsh. They're so harsh. Right. Quickly here. Microsoft's market share of console gaming services. Now, the only reason I'll show you this is because I know you like facts. Do you want the Korean version? There you are. That's the Korean version. But here we go. Obviously, we know in Korea it's 5 to 10%. We know in Japan it's tiny, 0 to 5%. In Europe, it's 15 to 20%. Okay? But look here. In UK, it's 40 to 45%. And the US is 40 to 45%. It's big. Xbox is big in the UK. And that's why it's not insignificant what Microsoft choose to do in terms of the Activision Blizzard deal and the UK's position on it. It's not some small insignificant market. The UK is a significant market for Xbox. It's hugely popular in the UK. It's the same as in the US. Whereas in other territories, they lean much more, look at this, Europe, much more towards PlayStation. Obviously, Japan and, you know, Korea. The reason PlayStation, you know, they're probably a bit bigger here is, I mean, it wasn't until recently that you could get a PlayStation in Korea because there was a sort of trading ban between Korea and Japan for years and years. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you just to underline the significance of whatever decision Microsoft and Activision decide to sort of do to deal with the UK if they don't win their tribunal. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just let me just call up. I didn't mean to close that. Let's just go there a minute. So if you've not seen my, let's just talk quickly here. Oh no, that was that. I showed you. So if you didn't see it, I showed it on very briefly. We'll just sort of show it here. The work that NVIDIA have been doing with AI to create AI characters who you can have an actual conversation with within the game, and they react like a chat GPT-4 type thing. They react with natural language, so you can actually talk to them in natural language and they'll respond to you. They are not scripted. They are given a motivation, a character, backstory and stuff like that, and then you just ask them questions and then they respond naturally. So really, really exciting. But the big thing that is Xbox related, of course, Microsoft related, is, and I would just go to it, they have created, or the nerds, and again, it's actually at NVIDIA, the academics and the nerds at NVIDIA and various universities have created, here, if I just go here, you'll see down here, who's that handsome fella there? So researchers here, this guy, Linux Jim Fan, is a AI researcher at NVIDIA, and he posted a tweet about this. I highly recommend, if you've not seen the video, I will share it for you. Why not? I highly recommend it. But basically, they have created this AI agent called Voyager, that teaches itself how to play Minecraft. It learns how to play Minecraft. Whenever it discovers something new, like how to build an axe, it's aware of what it's got. Oh, I've got 2 bits of, hopefully you're all familiar with Minecraft. I've got some wood. I can make some sticks. I can make a crafting table. Oh, now I've got a crafting table. I can make a wooden axe. Now I've got a wooden axe. I can mine some stone. Now some cobblestone. Now I've got some cobblestone. I can make a stone axe. Now I can mine some iron. Oh, I can make an iron axe. And I'm near some water. I've got a stick and some string. I can make a fishing rod. Perhaps I want to fish. And it reasons with itself. And every time it learns a new skill, it stores that skill in a library to call upon later in the game. And so it's constantly improving. So they've not taught it how to play Minecraft. They've basically given it sort of like a task. They call it a curriculum. They've basically given it a curriculum, just like a school curriculum that says this is what you'll be learning at school today, or or this year, whatever. They've given it curriculum, saying this is the game. Now teach yourself. Not like a lot of schools. Here's the curriculum. Now teach yourself. They give it a curriculum, and then they say, right, now teach yourself to sort of to get to these points. And it teaches itself, and every time it learns a new skill, it discovers something, it creates a skill library and builds all these things, and it can draw on that skill library as it goes throughout the game. It knows when there are mobs around. It can battle endermen, everything. It's just really, really a really, really kind of exciting thing. And the potential of this is bigger, ladies and gentlemen, than just Minecraft. The reason that they chose Minecraft is because it's not really a linear game. It's an open world, and every world is different, right? So obviously a lot of games, it's the same world, yeah? And the structure through it is fairly linear. The thing about Minecraft, which makes it such an exciting experiment for AI, is that every world created is brand new and completely different. And this AI agent can remember the skills it's learned in one session of Minecraft, and then if you put it in a new world, it knows how to navigate that world. And therefore, it's a great example of AI agents, like self-prompting agents, teaching themselves the skills they need to get to navigate the world. And so, in a way, Minecraft is like the real world. You give the AI a curriculum, and it can learn and teach itself how to navigate the randomness of the real world. But anyway, check out the video if you're interested in all of that. I just thought I'd share it, sort of Microsoft, Xbox related, and especially if you're a Minecraft fan. I know somebody was playing Minecraft earlier in the show, ladies and gentlemen, but I just thought I would share that with you. And of course, anyway, the big thing, ladies and gentlemen, I nearly completely forgot the real recent thing. The big showcase coming up, ladies and gentlemen. 7 days. Here we go. 7 days to go, ladies and gentlemen. Xbox showcase is coming up. The hype is there. Yoshida's in the house. Evening, Yoshida. We were just talking about Yoshida, Kenichiro Yoshida-san of Sony. Right. Yeah, so the big Xbox showcase is coming up. And already, so Aaron Greenberg here stated 7 days until our first ever double feature, roughly 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen, 2 hours of non-stop games, and Starfield. And again, now for those aren't familiar, Aaron Greenberg, this is his event because he's the marketing manager. Yeah, Xbox Games, the VP of marketing, the VP of Xbox Games marketing at Microsoft. He's on the board. This is his show, basically. This is his neck on the line. Anyway, none of our first-party games. So this is an interesting thing here. None of our first-party games in the show are full CG trailers. Thank heaven for that. Don't you get a little bit, I don't know, is it just me? Don't you get a little bit sick of or fed up of trailers which are just CG? Ubisoft are a bit guilty of that, aren't they? I remember for Good and Evil 2, 8 years ago, an amazing CGI trailer to hype the game, probably wasn't even in development. Still no sign of it. And as for Skull and Bones, that all started, I don't know, 5-6 years ago with a big fancy CGI trailer. So, yes, we're going to be seeing actual gameplay. Now, this is not to say there won't be trailers which are entirely CGI. What they're saying here specifically is when it comes to the first-party games in the show, they've made a point of making sure that you see actual in-game, everything is either in-game footage or in-engine footage or in-game footage with some cinematics. Each of our trailers will be labelled so it's hopefully clear for our fans. I think that's really good. Let's just be honest about it. Let's just be upfront. Say, this is CGI, this is in-game, this is game engine, and then we all know. Yeah, we all manage our expectation. So that was the first thing. And then earlier, oh, look at this. Leaked, maybe. Some Starfield headset and Starfield controller. If Starfield is really good, I might be tempted with the controller. Can't really justify any more headsets. I've got so many headsets in my display. Hey, everybody, do me a massive favour. There's 19 people watching, and we appreciate that. We love that. But the likes are only at 10. So 9 of you are watching with your arms crossed, going, impress me, entertain me, inform me, educate me. I'm doing my best. So hit those likes if you haven't already hit the likes, because, it helps. It helps. And it's lovely to see everybody as well, which is always wonderful. But, there was also, again, and it came from Xbox. What am I going to find? I can't find it. But it hinted at, it was a big hint at Fable. Now, here we go. Xbox is seemingly teasing the appearance of Fable at Xbox Games. Now, bear in mind the last time we saw Fable, or a hint of it, again, it was the CGI stuff. Yeah? It was a teaser trailer, CGI. First party game, which means, so it all started from this. This was posted by Xbox. So this isn't some leaker or anything like that. We got a leaker on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Xbox themselves. And look, a trail of glitter, question mark. Where does it go? Let's see. Xbox Showcase. Seems important. See you there on the 11th. What could it mean? Ooh. This is not like some random TikTok. This is Xbox posted this. Do you love games as much as we do? Then you don't want to miss the Xbox Game Showcase. You've got 2 hours of games, ladies and gentlemen. First-party games are going to have in-game footage. Yeah? The significance of the sparkles, ladies and gentlemen, is that apparently you follow a trail of sparkliness in Fable. So the big hint that this is in fact a hint of Fable. Now, bear in mind that Fable is a first-party game. That means we are going to see some actual game footage of Fable. Now, Fable is being made, of course, by Playground Games, who are more famous for making their Forza Horizon games, of course. And the Forza Horizon games, I mean, you know, different genre, but they look amazing. The vistas on Forza Horizon, 4, I think I've got them right. Forza Horizon 5, amazing. I mean, let alone the racing engine. Maybe you race around in a car chasing the Stardust Fairy. But anyway, that is what people think. Maybe the colour's important as well. That is what people think that is hinting at. And that is being leaked by Xbox. So, bearing in mind, we've got 2 hours of game footage, effectively. Loads of games. It's not all Xbox first-party games. But there's going to be a load of Xbox first-party games. We're going to see in-game footage, which is a relief, because you get a real sense of the way the game's going to feel like. And it's getting teased, or as a big old hint, that we're going to be seeing Fable, which I think, I'm particularly excited about that. But let me know in the chat whether you're excited about that as well. But there we go. Did anybody... yeah, poor person, that's what I was thinking. Poor person has to clean that up. Yeah, that's what you need. A Hoover. Anyway, the rumor is that is a massive hint to Fable. But yeah, it's building up, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I mean about the hype. Remember to collect your, unlock your achievement. Well done, everybody. This is what I mean about the hype building. At one hand, they're sort of managing expectations by saying, well, by being transparent, but at the same time, that transparency is hyping it up in my mind in a way that they're not necessarily leaving loads to imagination, and yet what they are saying, because usually it's when you leave it blank that the Twitterati, the gaming, folk out there, oh, they're gonna reveal the Xbox Series X2. Oh, they're gonna reveal the next handheld. Oh, they're gonna reveal no. They've been very clear there. What we're showing you are games, and then Starfield. And the games that are coming from Xbox first-party studios are going to have in-game footage. They're not going to be silly CGI teaser trailers. We're going to see the actual game mechanics. We're going to see the real potential of the games. And that, to me, is very exciting. And then when that's all over, it's Starfield. And Starfield, I think, is gearing up. I think Todd Howard... I don't know. I'm getting excited for Starfield. I don't know if you are, but I'm thinking the potential is there. It's going to look great. There's no question about that. As long as it sort of feels and plays great, that's the kind of the main thing. But let's go to the chat. See what you guys. Let me know what you think. Anyway, it's going to be about the games. Don't know about hardware. It's not going to be and another thing. It's going to be about stuff coming on. Kandara says, if MS decide to pull ABK games out of the UK to close the deal, I'd support that. Serves the CMA right. What about me? Yeah, as long as I can use a VPN from the UK. Yeah. Okay. So not just the UK. It is just the UK, yeah. The UK is the only one that's blocked it. Let me just refresh the... No, let's not do that. I know what happened last time. Yeah, hit the likes, indeed. Borderlands. Yes, I got there, didn't I? Not Baldur's Gate. It was Borderlands. Yes, we got there. We got there. My mind just went blank. I know what I want to say, and then it's my age. Then, bing, it disappears. Like a puff of smoke. Boo! What I just want to do... No, I can't multitask. Right. Redfall could have been a great vampire game. Sadly, we got let down. Maybe next time. Xbox type games are popular in the UK. Yeah. Yeah, FIFA, racing games, Call of Duty, of course. Yoshida said hello. Yoshida there. I'm watching on the hub in the kitchen and forgot. Okay. That's how I do it all the time. I do it all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Well, while I just... I just wanted to do something on the fly there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say, there we go. I'm hyped for Sunday. Are you hyped for Sunday? Let's do a watch along together. Yeah? I will set that up. I would love you to join me. Come along for a watch along and a chat. Xbox live showcase followed by Starfield. Let's grab some popcorn, grab a few drinks, and all round to my place, virtually, all round to my place, and we'll watch it together. How about that? I'd love you could join me as well. It'd be lovely to see you all on the GeForce Now. No, there won't be a GeForce Now Thursday night chat, sadly. I might try to do something, but I'm seeing my sister, who I've not seen in a long time. She is availing herself of my services in terms of a bed for the night. She's staying over with her husband as they travel on their way to lovely France, where they live. So I'm afraid we'll have to postpone that. But if I get to, I might do something special for you or have something ready for you on Thursday. Obviously, I have the news as per normal, so check out that. But I would love you to join me. Let's make up for it and all of that on Sunday. We'll do the live showcase together. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a massive, massive thank you. Arigato gozaimasu for watching the show live. And if you didn't manage to watch it live and you're watching it after the event, thank you as well. Remember to hit the likes, whether live or not. It's much appreciated. And definitely subscribe, because I do this on a regular basis and I'd love to see your company. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Sayonara. Janai.